Welcome to On Time for Mom Time. And you're right on time. I'm Brittany Paletz. We are your hosts.
And I'm Stacey Lopez. We are back in the podcast booth, and we are welcoming our very first guest to our podcast.
An exciting chapter for On Time for Mom Time. We have our first guest, who is Madame Wingo, who is with Beautiful Blessings Birth Services out of Sweetwater. She's a licensed midwife and a certified professional midwife who has helped deliver around 180 babies in her career. And Madon, again, thanks for being our first guest. And you are a mom to 6 children yourself. Welcome.
I am. Yes. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Tell us the ages of your kiddos. You have 6, so we want to know, what are their ages?
I've got quite the range. My eldest is 20 and my youngest is 6. So yeah, we have 20, 19, 17, just about 15, 10, and 6. Yeah.
She remembered all of their ages.
Yes.
I'm very proud of
in
her.
the right order, too.
Especially after not much sleep doing your job. So let's talk about your job.
Yes.
You are a midwife. Tell us about it and your licensing and really what that means.
Sure. Yes. So I am a certified professional midwife. I'm also a licensed midwife with the state of Texas. So some people get a little confused about that. And we use the acronym LM, which is licensed midwife. In order to become a licensed midwife with the state of Texas, you have to pass the credentialing exam for a certified professional midwife first. So most all midwives who are LMs in the state have passed that at some point in time, have been a CPM. They may not keep that credential, but they originally had it in order to become licensed in the state of Texas. So that involves some type of either a program or a degree. Also in midwifery, it just depends on which area, which direction that you went. And then you pass what's called the NARM exam, which is the North American Registry of Midwives exam. It's like a board exam for nurses. It's a big, long, huge exam that you must pass in order to be able to get that credentialing and then file to be licensed with the state. So I'm a home birth midwife. So licensed midwives in the state of Texas do either birth center birth or home birth. And then we have certified nurse midwives in the state of Texas, and they'll do either home birth, birth center birth, or hospital birth. So they get to have that option.
That's a wide range.
It is.
Yeah.
Now, I want to get into a little bit the connection between being a mom yourself, and 5 of your 6 children were home births.
That's
and
true.
your first being at a hospital.
Yes.
Kind of talk to me about how your birth experiences played a role into this career for yourselves.
It played a major role. My husband and I have often talked about if things had gone a little bit different with our first, it could have completely changed my trajectory because I was so close to having a C-section with my first. And that would have definitely changed probably the amount of children I ended up having and where I had them and all the things. But I was always a little more natural based, and I had known of a midwife in my area, and I really wanted to have a home birth. My husband was raised more in the medical model of care on everything and really just felt like safety-wise, let's go to the hospital first. If that goes well, then we'll have a home birth. In hindsight, he would tell you that's one of his biggest regrets, that it would have been so much better to plan for the home birth, to do all the things, to really invest in that experience. And then if something went outside of normal and we had to transfer to the hospital, then we were at the hospital. That's not what happened. We ended up having a pretty traumatic birth in the hospital. All the things, so we often refer to it in our world as a cascade of interventions. All the stuff happened. All the things I said I didn't want to happen happened, internal fetal monitoring and I didn't want an epidural. I wanted to do it naturally and be able to feel all the sensations. That didn't happen. I ended up using forceps to get her out.
That was me.
Yeah,
Same.
and it was like the doctor was like, if we don't get her out soon with these forceps, then we're headed back. And he's like, get the room ready for the C-section. And I was like, no,
So
we're gonna do this. Yeah, it was bad. And then I ended up passing out afterwards, and like all these things. And the postpartum was very, very hard. Physically, it was extremely hard. Mentally, it was really hard. I ended up with some postpartum depression and all of that. And we struggled breastfeeding. Like there was just so many things about it that did not go at all like I had envisioned this birth, for myself. And I had heard stories because of more naturally minded. I'd heard these beautiful birth stories happen, and I'm like, that's not what I got at all. That wasn't part of my experience. So when I got pregnant the second time, my husband and I was like, it's going to be different this time. I want to do it different. Let's interview the midwife at least, So we interviewed a midwife. That interview lasted over 2 hours.
Oh, good for you.
Yes,
Asking
she was
those
amazing
questions.
because we came with so many questions for her. And what's really interesting, it wasn't as much the questions about safety, although that's a big question that lots of people have. We can get into that in a minute. It was questions about my personal experience and feeling empowered in the space, because a big, huge part, and I don't remember who said this, but basically people may not remember the words that you said to them, but they will remember how you made them feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I felt completely like I wasn't even a person at that point. I was a machine being monitored, and I had to ask permission to do anything. And the nurses came in, and I felt like they turned my husband against me and my wishes, and they would be like griping at me and telling me, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I was just trying to be able to make it through contractions, and this is all new for me. And I'm trying to do all these things, and I have these people like bombarding me with, you can't do this, you can't do that, and that's not going to work. You're going to kill your baby if you do that. And really in terms like that.
Yeah.
And that makes you feel awful as a woman alone, but literally a mom, like, oh, I would never want to harm my baby, of course not. So I guess I better listen to them. So I just completely felt like I had no say about anything. And I was just blindsided by that. That's not the experience that I was expecting. So when we came to the midwifery conversation and we sat down with our beautiful midwife in Arkansas, and she answered all these questions in such a gracious manner, and the big questions about, can I do this? Can I do that? She's like, it's your birth. You can do whatever you want. Like, you can dance a jig if you want. Like, she was like, of course you can do those things.
Dance the baby out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so it was beautiful. And so that was our whole plan. We set up, I did lots of research, lots of studying, lots of books, and just in mental preparation for a different experience this time. And we had the most beautiful birth at home that I was so thrilled about. My first labor was like 24 hours, and we did pushing with forceps for over a half an hour as well. Like, there were so many things, and almost had a C-section. And my second birth, which was at home, was 5-hour labor and 2 pushes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was just so different. And afterwards, I was standing and walking. I didn't pass out. I didn't hurt. Like, I had broke my tailbone with my first one too.
Oh, wow.
Second one, I didn't have
literally
any
could
of
write
that.
my birth story.
Yeah,
That was my
yeah.
birth story.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so
Yeah.
rough. I feel like I couldn't stand up straight for like 3 months after I had her.
Yeah.
And I answered the door the next day when my father-in-law came over to see her, and he was like, did y'all lie to me? Like, what do you mean? And he's like, did you have her like several days ago and you didn't tell me? Because like this is not how you were last time at all. And I was like, that's the difference. Like, it was such a difference for us. And then of course the next time, like the first time we found out we were pregnant, or after that, like we called the midwife right away. Like, let's get on her books and make sure that we have her. She's besides my husband, she's the next person that we told I was pregnant. And so we're super thrilled with that. And that was in Arkansas. We got to have the same midwife for 3 of our home births. Loved her tremendously. And then when we moved to Texas, which we've been here now 13 years, love it. When we found out we were pregnant again, I was searching to try to find a midwife. And actually, I was pretty shocked that they were so spread out in this West Texas area, big country. I was really struggling. Abilene used to have a really wonderful midwife in the area, Carol. And she actually passed away not too long ago.
Interviewed her years ago. She was lovely and met several of the families generationally that she was able to help with home births. So
yes, she was an amazing woman in the community. And I got to meet her one time. And I know, of course, lots of midwives and families that worked with her now. But yeah, she was absolutely great. She didn't have room for me, though, when I called her. And so I ended up having to go to a midwife all the way down in San Angelo. And she had a birth center, and I had to drive to her for everything. And it wasn't what I was used to for midwifery care. My first 3 births, everything was in home. The midwife came to us for everything. She's very rural, and it was just different here. And so I went and we had an okay experience. We still had a home birth, but it was just a little different experience. And then that pregnancy, which was my 5th, really ignited this whole like, why are we so short on midwives? I love midwives. Actually, I think I want to be a midwife.
good for you.
Yeah, so it was in that pregnancy that I really was feeling the call to be a midwife. And I had doulaed for other people in the past. So a doula is somebody who just comes along as a support person. So they help with education or physical and mental support in labor. Doulas are really great in any births, but they're really helpful in the hospital. Really helping guide and help, advocate for you in decisions that you want to make, all of that. So I offered to do that for lots of different family and friends and people. And so that's why I kind of was in the birth world a little bit more besides my own births. And even when I was 16, I didn't know I was in that role. I didn't know that's what I was wanting to do, but my friend was pregnant and I'm like, can I come? And I was bringing her books and telling her all about the pregnancy. probably way more than she wanted to know about the pregnancy. But I never realized that I was so
naturally
I really had
involved.
that natural desire to be very involved in that. And then when I really felt it with my 5th pregnancy, especially seeing the lack of midwifery care in the area.
We just were talking about that yesterday, looking up some research specifically citing in Texas that there was a shortage.
Huge shortage. And we have so many maternity deserts in there. We have so many of our small hospitals that have shut down. They don't even have L&D.
Yeah, they don't.
And so midwives can really come in and help in those areas. I mean, that's what we do. And so we really can kind of bridge that gap where we don't have, and then you don't have people having to go so far out of their area, their community in order to just have their babies. You know, it's one of the oldest professions. I mean, the first time you hear of a midwife being mentioned is in the Bible.
It's in the Bible,
Yeah, and that's pretty amazing to think that it's been around this long, and it hasn't been until probably about the last 100 years has it really shifted and changed from midwifery care being a natural home environment, women in the community that are trained and coming and helping, you know, all the women in their community. I mean, that's what we're doing. It's helping each other. Yeah, and we just have this beautiful network and community. And there was a huge shift when so many things were medicalized in the United States, specifically in Western culture, and that this shift changed to hospital-based and home birth not being the norm. And so I think we're working on getting more information out about it, that it has always been there.
Right.
And will always be there. But there's different surges of where it kind of comes back and people are a little more like, oh, this is a natural physiological process of my body. Exactly.
Your body naturally does it. And we, you know, both of us, we did give birth in a hospital.
Yes.
So we obviously don't know this side. I mean, I have friends who have done home births, but talk to us about that too and just what the process is like. Not only are you there for the birth and they get to do it naturally, you walk alongside them from the time that they learn they're pregnant all the way to postpartum. So talk about that and just how different it is as opposed to going to an OB at a hospital and having it there.
Yeah, there's the most of the similarities is, yes, we're taking care of pregnant women and labor and delivery and postpartum. And yes, we kind of have a schedule that we make sure that we're seeing them on, you know, monthly at first, and then every 2 weeks, and then every week, and then after the baby, all of that. That's probably a lot of where the difference is. I mean, the similarities are, there's vast differences. It's just a completely different mode of care. First off, I like to say it's like apples and oranges. They're both fruit. Yes. So, you know, that's true, but they're so vastly different. The model of care for midwifery is based in that everything is normal until proven otherwise. This is a natural process. And so it's different. And then we're not looking for something to be wrong. Every appointment, I'm not like, something's going to be wrong today. We're going to need to manage something. Instead, I'm trusting that everything's going to be perfect and normal. But as a midwife, I'm going to look for those things and then keep an eye on it. And if we see anything starting to veer outside of normal, then we're going to see what we can do to bring it back to normal. And then if we can't, then we seek out our resources and then we try to work on that. But most of the time, the vast majority, everything is perfectly normal. And we work, so through, finding out you're pregnant. We even have some preconception counseling that we do. But I've gotten calls as early as 3.5 weeks. They literally were just like, I'm pretty sure I can see. I'm pregnant.
I need help. Yes. Let's support now.
Exactly. And there are major instances where we can really help in that first trimester, whether it's that somebody has low progesterone and we need to do progesterone supplementation. People may not be aware that midwives can prescribe. We have physician standing orders that we can prescribe things that our clients need. Whether it's, you know, they're so nauseated that we're able to give them an IV and just help boost them in that first trimester and really help support them there. And then we go all the way through the pregnancy. We do, and for me personally, I do all in-home care. Not all the midwives do around here. Everybody's a little different. And that's so great that, you know, that they get to have a unique practice. So we have a CNM in town who has an office and she does all home birth. We have a CPM who has a birth center and she does all visits at the birth center and all deliveries at the birth center. We have another licensed midwife in Abilene who has an office and does all home birth. And then we have different ones out on the outskirts of the big country. So it's neat that we all get to be very unique and that my office is my car. I am out of my car all the time. And so I bring everything to visits for mom. And so what that involves in a visit, it's like we sit just like we are right now. Usually it's on the dining table or the couch, just depending. And it's me coming into your space. So you don't have these walls up. We're able to really get to know each other well. And we're just having conversations. We don't have that more sterile environment or that more medical
intimidating for many.
Yeah, no, that's very valid. Very valid. I love coming and being on somebody else's turf, basically, so that they feel like, okay, they are restful and they're the ones that have more in charge isn't the word I'm looking for, but you know, it's
Comfort.
their space. So their comfort is extremely important to me. And so we come and we sit. I bring a prenatal bag with me and I bring it in and we'll just discuss the pregnancy. We talk a lot about nutrition. We talk a lot about just health, as in, you know, our body and how it's working, but also we talk about spiritual, mental, you know, all of that, because it all affects the whole body and the whole process. And sometimes there's other children that are there in that conversation. We involve them in the conversation as well. Then we do vitals. It doesn't take long to do vitals, but that's always part of it. You know, blood pressure, temperature. We have the mom lay usually on the couch and we will feel the belly, and just, we call that palpation, just feeling the belly and seeing, you know, maybe the position of the baby. We're measuring the baby's belly and then we're listening to the heart tones and just seeing, okay, baby sounds good, mom sounds good. When we get to different stages of the pregnancy, we may be sending out for a 20-week anatomy scan, so we can just send over authorization for a sonogram, and all the lab work we do in home too. So we need to do a lab draw because, like, last night I had an initial visit for a client. That's when we do her initial lab draw, and so we just sit on her couch and I'm the phlebotomist and we do the lab draw
right there.
Yeah, it's pretty all-encompassing. So we do all of that throughout the pregnancy. We're always watching and monitoring and helping encourage moms. And then when it comes time for delivery, when, say, a mom thinks that she's in labor, I'm again her contact person. It's the same person that she's been getting to know this whole time, that she's building a relationship of trust with and respect. And so we have that relationship. We're in discussion if she's in early labor or active labor, whatever's happening. And then at some point we make the decision, okay, I'm coming to you. And so I go to her home. I bring all of my gear. What I like to tell people is mostly, like, everything that you see in a labor and delivery room, I have. It just looks different. It's in a different form. So whether it's, you know, listening to baby, monitoring heart tones, well, I have that in it with a Doppler. Whether it's blood pressure cuff for a mom, it's a small one. It's not one on the wall. Or whether it's things for emergencies afterwards, whether it's neonatal resuscitation is the most common that's needed. I have all of that as well. I have what's called a resuscitation station that I kind of set up. Resuscicradle, have oxygen, I have ambu bags, LMAs if needed. We have medicine that we carry. All of us carry medicine for a mom. The most common complications you have in the postpartum is, like, say, a hemorrhage. That's going to be the most common for mom. For baby, it's going to be breathing issues that we're going to work on, you know, any type of respiratory thing. But we carry medicines to help with all of that. A lot of us carry herbs as well. And so there's always a level of care. Like, can we go to herbs with this one and see if that's going to work if we're having a minor thing? Or no, we need to go straight to Pitocin or Cytotec or something to be able to help, you know, mitigate any type of blood loss for the mom, or whether it's we're needing to give the baby some oxygen or just help the baby breathe, or maybe deep suction. We have just a different tool called a DeLee that I can use to do deep suction for the baby. It's not the suction on the wall like you have, you know, in a hospital room, but it's that instead. And we have a warming area, you know, with warm towels for the baby. And so it's really that whole same thing, but you get to be wherever you decide you're going to have your baby. Maybe it's in the bathtub. Maybe it's in a birth tub that I brought for you. Maybe it's in your bed. Maybe it's, I've had one outdoor birth under a pergola. It was beautiful with the sun rising. I mean, it was just so great. Yeah. And this mom asked me, like, is it okay if I have a baby here? I'm like, this is your house. Wherever. You can do whatever you want to do.
That's impressive.
And I'm happy to support you in that. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you did a great job describing all the things that you come equipped with and that go travel where you go, it goes, and you're prepared for just about anything. What about some common, I wanted to use this space for common, like, misconceptions of what you do, or, you know, what a midwife does, that maybe you want to set the record straight today.
Sure. Well, I've probably already said some of them. Like, a lot of people don't realize all the equipment that we bring to a birth. We also bring a trained birth assistant with us. We're all trained in CPR, neonatal resuscitation. We've all got extensive training and continuing education all the time in heart tones and just safety of mom and baby. So we're continually learning and continually working on our craft and, you know, getting that better. Some of the misconceptions are, you know, like what do we actually do in labor? Well, you're the one in labor. I'm going to be stepping in to just listen to heart tones, check on your vitals, but then I want to step back and let you do your thing. I'm not dancing around in it. Maybe I do have a tie-dye dress, but I'm not like some people will have this, think of like a hippie or that type of a thing, and that we're just doing sage around and we're doing some herbs over here. I'm not to meet a midwife that's how we are medical professionals.
Yeah.
So we are bringing that to the space, but we also respect the body, and we respect the way it was designed uniquely to birth babies. And so we want to honor that during our care. And so we want to respect that. If you want to have sage in your house, just you go for it. We do provide herbs. I provide Nora tea that I mix up for my clients throughout the pregnancy that they take. It helps as a uterotonic. It helps with their blood flow. It helps things in the postpartum. And so I do provide those things with them. Other misconceptions, like people don't realize we can do IVs. People don't realize that we can prescribe. They don't realize that we continue. Like we are the same person that's seeing them all throughout. You come and see, we were just talking about why I was a little late today is because I needed to go check up on 2 babies that were just born in the past couple of days and make sure they were good. We come back and we see them 24 to 48 hours after they're born, check on the baby, do a congenital heart defect screen on them. We do the newborn screen for the baby. If the baby needed blood testing, we do that. Mom's needing to check anything, we do that as well. And so we do all of those things. It just looks like a little different. Yeah. And it's in your home, which is different, for some people. Some people, like, I have a friend who, she would never do a home birth. She does not, that would not feel good to her. Like, she needs the medicalized care. She needs everything to feel sterile and everything to be like, the birth is not sterile. But that feeling and
I can relate to that, having 2 babies there. It just feels like a safe space for me, but I have such respect for those who, and this is what's so beautiful about having options and individual preferences.
And that's a big thing, if you want to talk about some stuff with midwifery care, is that we are so passionate about all midwives. Just that you are the one in the driver's seat for your care.
Very important.
We are here as medical professionals to help guide you in that. Like in our appointments, we're discussing like nutrition. We're discussing testing coming up. Maybe it's group beta strep testing. Maybe it's gestational diabetes testing. We do all of that if you want it. The thing is, you get to have choice in it. It's not we're going to do this. Oh, we're going to do that. Oh, you have to do this. It's hey, this is protocol generally. This is standard of care. Let me give you options. I want you to go research. And next appointment, let's discuss what decision that you and your partner would like to make in the care of you and your baby. And I feel like that sets parents up for the decision-making process they have to do once they have this baby in their arms. Yeah. So they get the opportunity throughout the pregnancy to really kind of dive into that. What does it look like to do research? And then make a truly informed decision about your care. And you get to have options. Yeah. And that's a really great thing that people feel empowered about. Like, I'm all for empowering women to make choices for themselves and not feel ever like they've been coerced or that they didn't have an option, and making them feel supported, in whatever that decisions do. Do moms make decisions sometimes that I would not have made or maybe I thought was not the wisest decision? Of course they do. That's their right. But I'm going to respect that, and I'm going to support them in that decision. Yeah. And so I think that's a huge part of midwifery care. I'm trying to think of what other misconceptions. What misconceptions have you ladies?
Well, I was going to say those are the ones I had personally, but after.
I think just also too, before we, kind of wrap up today, is just who is a candidate for midwifery? Because I do have friends that have wanted to do it, but they are giving birth to twins, or they've had other things happen in births prior. Is everyone a candidate for home births, or is that's what I want to know? Because I've heard the opposite of, if you have a twin birth, you can't because they're the high risk. I don't know.
That is a good example. So I'll give you laws first, and then we'll talk about individuality. So in the state regulations for midwives, TDLR is the one who guides over licensed midwives that are generally home birth midwives or birth center midwives. Low risk is what we attend to. And so we talk about normal. We want everything staying within normal. There's a little gray area about what normal is. So generally, we're just going through a normal single baby gestation, and we're keeping an eye. You don't have diabetes. You are not like extremely overweight. You might be obese, but you're not extremely overweight. You're not taking medications for like a heart condition or anything like that. So those are risk factors that we would look at and be like, hey, it'd really be better for you to be with an OBGYN or maybe an MFM, maternal fetal medicine doctor. Or maybe it's a matter of, hey, I want you to go see them first, go get all checked out and make sure that they say everything is good for you to be able to come back to midwifery care and have a home birth. In regards to like breaches, twins, those type of things, a lot of that has to do, in the state of Texas, we can do breaches and twins in home. That has to do comfortability and training level of the midwife. I'm trained in breech and I've done lots of training in breech and attended several breech births. So I might be comfortable with a breech depending on the situation. We're always judging like what's going on with that mom, what her personal risk factors are. It's not a broad, this is yes, this is no. It's a individualized care. And so that mom specifically, maybe all of her babies have been born breech and she, that's just what her body does.
Yeah.
And so that's normal for her. And as long as I'm well trained in how to attend to that, then okay. Those are far and few between. Those are not normal cases that we have. Most of the time, we're going to be attending to a single baby with a mom, and that is all low risk.
Right.
And it's beautiful to be able to, like, every time, every appointment, we're asking questions. And in those questions, like the mom probably gets a little tired because I'm asking you the same questions. Do you have a headache? Do you have pain anywhere in your abdomen? How's your vision? Those type of things. And she's probably like, oh, she asked me these same questions. I'm screening her the whole time for preeclampsia, for, all these things that could possibly have her go outside of normal. And a mom has preeclampsia. We're getting her to the hospital. Yeah. We're getting her care. Usually we're seeing that before she's in labor. And then we're able to call, a local physician and see if we can transfer to care to them. And if we happen to see some of those things come up in labor, then we're getting them to the care that they need. I think there is a misconception, if we want to talk about those, about that midwives are home birth at all costs. Like that we're against the hospitals, that we are just like, it's an evil, awful place and we don't want anybody to ever go there and we want to just keep moms at home because that's where it's supposed to be. No, that is absolutely not how we feel about that. Like we love home birth and it is a natural, beautiful process. But if somebody shows risk factors or shows things coming up in the care that we know the best place, safest place for them to be is going to be at a hospital, then we're not going to hesitate to take them there. And we're not going to hesitate to transfer if there's something outside. If we're working on keeping everything normal, it goes outside of normal. We're all trained in emergency care. And sometimes it's a matter that we do that training and then we bring everybody back to normal and they're great. Other times it's a matter of we're doing all of our training and we're getting EMS there because we need their help as well. And we're going to transfer care to the hospital.
That sounds like you've got, you've been through all these experiences personally. It's not one size fits all.
Not at all.
We're almost out of time. However, before we leave, I did just want to, you've got a very unique job, a very rewarding job. You don't have normal vacation sick time. You're, we were at the mercy of whether any babies were going to be delivered during this podcast.
You were going to be here, yes.
So thankfully, we're grateful for your time here and with us. But just talk about the rewarding aspect of what you do.
Yeah, I don't know any midwife that it's not a calling to do midwifery care. It's just, you don't wake up one day and just decide, oh, I'm going to take care of mamas and babies. I'm going to be on call 24/7. I'm going to be at the mercy of my phone. And I have no clue. My husband's going to have to adjust any type of vacation based on how many mamas I have due in a certain month. That's definitely not something that anybody, thinks about. And a lot of people think that we take care of babies. We rarely get to hold the babies. We take care of mamas.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Hugely important.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, it's so important to us. And so we have that love for moms, that love for helping empower them, helping them embrace their own power that they have and be able to just walk into this motherhood thing in a beautiful way. So my family has the unique process. I'm a homeschool mom as well. And so we have 6 children and definitely went through this process of when I was first feeling called to midwifery, like, how do I do that with children? Like, I don't know what that looks like being on call 24/7 and having these children. And we waited till ours got a little bit older and my husband was able to help more with that. And now, for the last, I've been a midwife for 2 years and I've been, I was in school for 3.5 years to get my midwifery degree. They've now kind of adjusted to that. And it's a beautiful thing because I get to thank my family for helping me serve women.
Love that.
Yes. And it's a beautiful, like I was gone, we had a birth yesterday instead of today, thankfully.
Thanks, baby.
Yes. And I ended up being gone from my house for almost 2 full days for that birth. And when my family texts me some and checks on me and, it's kind of everybody is a little involved.
Yeah.
They are. And so when I get to come home finally, I go like, thank you everybody for helping me take care of this mama well. And so it's so rewarding. Like I love it. I love seeing it. I get teary-eyed every single birth. They're all unique. They're all different. And it's something I will do for the rest of my life.
Oh, well, wonderful, Madon. I'm sorry that we're out of time because we could go on and on about this topic, and we'll have to get you on the calendar in the future because there's still more ground to cover.
Yes.
But with Beautiful Blessings Birth Services, Madon Wingo, and we wish you many smooth deliveries
Thank
ahead.
you so much.
Yes, we do. And we cannot wait for next week. We have another guest coming on. It will be the woman or the mother really, who started the Abilene Mom Walk Collective, a mom group. And so we're excited to hear from her.
Yeah, it's going to be you won't want to miss it. It will definitely appeal to somebody probably in your family, if not yourself, if you are a young mom looking for that community. So until next time, we will look forward to sharing every mom's story because every mama has a story worth telling. We'll see you next time.
See you then.